Hello and welcome to another video. First off, sorry if the audio sounds weird. I'm actually laying in bed as I record this audio because somehow I managed to throw out my back at the ripe old age of 27 years old, and I can't sit or stand for long periods of time, hence bed audio. So, forgive me if it sounds a little bit strange. Also, forgive me that the video is sped up. I know I said I don't really like to speed up videos, but like I said, my back hurts. And so I don't think I could talk for long periods of time, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. So today's video is going to be a little bit different just because it's not. Well, I guess it is my own original idea, but it's actually for a contest. So I'm a Wonder, both on here and on YouTube, is hosting a contest for characters design to like design a rival for her girl gang character Momo. And then if you win, you get like watercolor sketchbooks. But you guys know I don't really do watercolor, so I don't really care about the sketchbooks. But I did it because I thought it would be a really interesting character design opportunity, I guess. I just thought that it set up like a really interesting opportunity to practice some character design. And you guys know I really like to design characters, so that's what we're doing for this week. So basically, what the contest consists of is just to design a character that would be like a friendly rival for her character Momo, who's like a girl gang um member, I guess. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and design that character, but I had two different ideas. So I was like, should I just do one? And I was like, no, I'm gonna do both. So in this video, you're gonna see some design explorations for two different characters, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this first one since we're already starting on her. So when it came to designing these characters, I'm a Wonder didn't really have any parameters set up. She said, do whatever you want. They don't have to be in like a Sailor Scout girl uniform. If you don't want them to be, go be creative, do whatever, whatever, right? But I decided that I was going to put them in a similar uniform to her character just because I felt like it would be a good little restraint on myself so that way I wouldn't like go too crazy or out of the realm of like what I wanted to do. I already knew I wanted to give her a sailor uniform anyway. Like it was like it was inspirational to me and it gave me a really good idea. So I just gave myself that little restraint, right? And so basically when I was going about designing these characters, I wanted to design them in a way that they looked cohesive with Momo, like they went together as a pair or even like a trio, since I designed two of them because I am a silly little person, right? So first and foremost, since her name is Momo, I was like, well, Momo is peach in Japanese. So I have to find some other fruit names to design around them, right? It just made sense to me. So for the first one, I was like, in my mind, I had this idea of another girl gang character and this like basically when I think of Japanese girl gang, I think girl with long hair, long skirt, kendo sword. So that was the first idea that I drew. And I was like, yes, that is Japanese girl gang quintessential right there, right? And so I was like, okay, I really like that idea. And I wanted her hair to be dark in contrast to Momo's pink. So I wanted her hair to be purple. And so I was like, okay, so what is like a purple fruit? And I was like, and then I was like, plums, right? Plums are purple. And so I saw the name Umako, which basically is like plum child, I guess, in Japanese. And I was like, Umako. Umako is great. And so I basically used a fruit to help build the character, right? And so she's like plum or whatever. And then I really had the idea of, like I said, long haired girl, kendo sword. But I didn't want to keep her with a kendo sword just because Momo has already had like an illustration where she's with a baseball bat, and I didn't want them to have the same weapons. I don't think that the weapons really matter because Momo is not like a character with a story. She's like a mascot kind of character, but still, I wanted there to be some diversity, and so I wanted her to have my character, the character that I'm designing right now, Umiko. I wanted her to have long hair in contrast to Momo's short hair, and then I was like, well, if Momo has a bat, then I felt like this character should be like a brawler type, right? So typically when you see this long-haired, long-skirted girl gang, Japanese girl gang character, she typically has a kendo sword, but I was like, well, what if it was like this refined character, but instead of using like a kendo sword, she uses more like martial arts, more like a fisticuffs, like hand-to-hand combat type thing, and I was like, oh, I like that. And so I decided I was gonna do an outfit that's a little bit more of like a fighter type outfit, which is like the long pants, the baggy pants, and like a crop top type thing. But I was like, I don't like that. Honestly, I feel like that first design is really the strongest one, and I don't really change it too much. But I do ditch the kendo sword, and I do end up going with more of a brawler type outfit. I just give her basically, it's the same thing. It's the sailor uniform. Instead of the long sleeve uniform like Momo has, I decided to give her a short sleeve uniform just because it's just like, contrast. Just I need a little bit of contrast in their designs, right? So if Momo has a short skirt, I gave this character a long skirt. Momo has long sleeves, I gave this character short sleeves. Just something that makes them look a little bit cohesive, like with their colors, with the purple and the pink that they're gonna have, right? But also something that's just a little bit to differentiate them from each other. And then I decided I was going to draw her in like this cool pose that I found on the internet, with this Japanese girl gang character with like a bat. And I was going to try and do the kendo sword one more time, but I was like, ooh, I really messed up with this illustration. It did not come out very good at all, but that's okay. This is just a sketch. These are just explorations for the character design that I wanted to go with, just to see what ideas worked well. Obviously, I think my first idea was the best one, and that's typically what I end up going with when I do these character designs. But I do think it is important to explore other avenues when you are doing this sort of thing, because you never know which idea you might have later could actually be an idea that works out better for the character. Unfortunately for this one, that didn't actually happen, but that's okay. I'm still glad that I explored these ideas anyway, just for, housekeeping, I guess. Not housekeeping, but just to explore everything that I felt like needed to be explored, right? So after you see me fuck up this drawing and then color it in, even though I think it turned out really, really bad, like I said, it's okay, but it's okay to also acknowledge that something turned out really, really bad. I decided to redesign her one more time. I felt like these were not really working out too well, but that was okay. But I didn't just want to give up and just be like, the first one is the best. Let's leave it that way. So what I decided to do one more time was to draw her once more with the long skirt, with the long hair, right? But then I was like, well, what if she wore like a jacket, like over the shoulder type thing? And so I ended up drawing that, which you're gonna see in a second. But what I decided with that was that it was too busy, right? And also the hair and the skirt and the jacket were all coming together in like a weird way and interacting in a strange way, and it was just coming really cluttered in the design. Like her hair would cut off at one point, and then the jacket was like a little bit lower than that, and then the skirt was a little bit lower than that, and it really messed up the idea of like the long skirt and the long hair as like a juxtaposition with Momo. I felt like it was too busy. It was just too busy, and you guys are gonna see that when I finish it. That's what I'm drawing right now. It's just I felt like it was too much, so I decided no, that one's not good. The first idea was the best idea, and that's okay. Though in the grand scheme of things, Umiko was actually pretty easy for me to design. Overall, my first idea was the one that I decided to go with. I'm going to do an illustration later on in the week where I do their finalized designs. I don't do any finalized stuff in this sketchbook video just because it was just design explorations in here, and I didn't want to like add that on. Just because it made the video really long, even with the sped up stuff, it'd have been like an hour-long video, and I didn't want to do that. And also, I decided that I was going to show you guys my sketching process in the next video. I never sketch with pencil on camera just because I don't think I'm very good at it, and honestly, I don't think it turned out very well. I mean, the drawing is okay, but my sketching process is really chaotic, and I think you guys are going to be able to see that when I post the video tomorrow, because I did make a video of pencil sketching. I don't know why my pencil sketching turns out so weird all the time, but anyway, that's not the point. There's no finalized art in this. It's just what I'm trying to say. So, sorry, I lost the plot there for a second. One thing that I forgot to mention about Umiko's design is that since I noticed that Momo, her motif is hearts a lot. Like, she's got these gloves that have hearts on them, and she typically has like this little heart thing going on. I decided that I wanted Umiko's thing to sort of be stars, and so I added these little star hair clips to her hair. And honestly, they were kind of like an afterthought a little bit, which is unfortunate. But when I do end up doing not this finalized design, I am going to be doing some more artsy sort of illustrations over on Instagram of them. So hopefully the star motif will play in a little bit more when I do that. But we're moving on to the next character. That was Umiko. And moving on to the next character, her name is Yuzu. So, if you're like me and you're like, what the hell is yuzu? I thought you were going to design them over fruits. Yuzu is a fruit, is apparently a type of citrus. So, it's like a lemon, kind of. So, they're yellow like lemons. Basically, I wanted her design to be yellow like a lemon. And so, when I was first thinking of what I wanted yuzu to be, I was thinking of like a really not bubbly but intense character, like one of those characters that's kind of like in your face, like a really in your face sort of delinquent type character. And I wanted her to be blonde, intense, and like spiky teeth, that sort of vibe. And so that when I went with this first design, that's what I was going with. And so I gave her the baggy pants and like the crop top. Well, it was not a crop top, but it was supposed to be like bandages over her chest. Like I wanted her to be that type of character. And maybe I wanted her to wear the male uniform instead of the female uniform for the school if they go to school. I actually don't know what age Momo is supposed to be. I know she's wearing like a school uniform type thing, but that doesn't really mean anything. You could just be wearing that for silly reasons. Anyway, I just wanted her to be like really intense type thing. But when I was designing her, I really got stuck on her hair, right? So I was like, I did this like really spiky down thing because I wanted it to be short, right? But also I was like, well, I should be spiky because she's supposed to be like an intense sort of character. But when I drew it out, I was like, this is not working, right? It's not working for me. I don't like the way that it looks. I have to do something else. So after you see me finish off this little design, you can see me drawing the hair, and I'm not liking it. And I just drew her with her fists together just because she's like getting ready for a fight. She's like one of those characters who's like really ready for a fight all the time. This is my initial idea, right? And so I'm coloring it in, and I'm like, I'm not really liking it. So after I color it in, I decide that I'm gonna focus instead of like redesigning the whole body. First, what I'm gonna do is get the hair right and the face right, because the hair and the face is kind of inform like the rest of the design for me anyway. I feel like the face and the hair are really the most important parts. So after I did that part of the design, I was like, okay, give her a face real fast. Change the shape of her eyes a little bit. I decided that I wanted her eyes to be a little bit more round to show off like the excitableness of her character. Like there's like two different kinds of like motifs you can go for. So I was thinking, well, maybe instead of being like an intense sort of excited, she could be just a little bit more of like a bubbly sort of excited, a little bit. Like I still want her to be intense, but maybe soften those edges a little bit, round them out a little bit for a little bit more of a compelling design. So I did that, and then I was like, well, I'll just give her like a half shaved head sort of thing. And so I shaved off half of her hair, and I made it curly, like this curly type of like a wavy type of mohawk type thing. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit better, but still not great. I still didn't like it, so I just colored it in real quick, lickety split, whatever, and then I just drew it again, and I draw it like 3 times, if I'm being honest. So I draw it again, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it's like the waves that are not working. So I'll shave off half of her hair, and I'll do it more of like a spiky type thing. And so I do that, and I'm like, no, that's not working either. I didn't like the spiky hair in the first place. So why would I like the spiky hair again on this area? So I did that, and I just was like, no, 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 that's not working. I don't even think I finished drawing the face because I was like, no, 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 that's not working. So I did it again. And so instead of making it a short hairstyle, I made it a bit of a longer, it's still like half shaved type thing. And then I made it longer, and I was like, yeah, I like this a lot better. I like this a lot better. But I was like, actually, though, what if instead of being that super intense type fighter brawler character, the basically the long curly hair and the yellow color was making me think, oh, you know what she should be? She should be a Garu girl. So, I don't know if you guys know anything about Japanese subcultures, but a Garu is basically like a subculture that kind of goes against all of the sorts of traditional type of beauty standards for Japan. So instead of being like dark hair, pale skin type thing, like very clean face, modest type woman, Garu girls are basically like the opposite of that. So they tan their skin dark, sometimes too dark in my opinion, and then they dye their hair like blonde, and they're like they have like a bad reputation for like being promiscuous and stuff. And I do think that garus are pretty associated with delinquents in Japan, so I was like, girl gang, garu would actually be perfect for a girl gang character. And so I was like, I'll make her a garu. And I was like, this is a breakthrough in the character, this is perfect. So instead of being like the intense sort of ready to fight you, ooh, I'm gonna challenge everybody type character, she's a sweet bubbly still like ready to challenge people type Garu, but she's a bit more sweet. Like she is ready to fight. If things go down, she's ready to fight, but mostly she's just a chill, wants to have fun type of girl. And I was like, this is very cute. This is very fun, right? And I was like, I've never designed a Garu before. And I was like, this is gonna be cool. This will be cute. And so that's what I went with the second design. So her hair is not shaved on the side anymore. It's just pulled over to one side instead because I was like, I could keep her with the shaved hair and make her a Garu, but I was like, let's make her just have a full head of hair. I think it'll be cuter. It'll make a little bit more sense. But we can still achieve the look of a shaved head by just like basically pushing her hair over to one side. And so it's got the same kind of silhouette without actually shaving her head. I also designed her with this sort of chain weapon, like just basically they were gonna have knives on the ends, but I ended up ditching those just because I couldn't get the knives to look how I wanted. You don't see them in this illustration. It's just a little cutesy thing right now, but in like the illustration that comes later this week, you'll see she has like a chain weapon and stuff. And there's also supposed to be like heavy makeup on her face, and I forget to do that for this illustration and the next one. And so when I do like the more artsy one on Instagram, I'm gonna have to remember to put makeup on her face. I just never draw characters with makeup. And then I threw in the same little sailor uniform, but I decided that I'm not actually gonna go with that for the final illustration. She's actually gonna have like this little sweater thing on. You guys will see that in the next drawing that I do of them. Sorry that you guys don't actually get to see their finalized designs in this video, but it actually took me a long time to do, so I had to split it up into a little bit longer videos, so sorry about that. Anyway, thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!